And you mentioned the economic problems, and certainly China has a long list, been trying to make a transformation from the export-dependent manufacturing heavy system to something more oriented toward domestic consumption. That's had sort of fitful progress, but not complete success yet. How great is the danger that China ends up, as many other developing countries have over time, stuck in what the World Bank has called the middle income trap, where you advance to a certain level about where China is today, but never quite make the full leap to the level of Japan, Europe, the United States?
Well, that is indeed a key risk. But if you look at some serious studies about how to avoid the middle income trap, two things are very important. One is infrastructure. This could be physical infrastructure, but I would actually expand that to include digital infrastructure for the modern age. And the second is human capital. Lots of countries get into the middle income trap because they don't have sufficient measures in both. China is not the case. There's both human capital is improving a bit. The diplomas have raced ahead of the economy, as we've seen with the youth education problems. I really think that. With China's innovation, really, the kind of whether it's applications or the high tech that we have discussed, the kind of the way to escape the middle income trap is really there. But what these studies do not take into account the rising geopolitical uncertainties and macro uncertainties. This is really the first time that a large developing country has encountered such external constraints. So that might be a key thing to watch. But just let me say, look, the U.S. shock to China, okay, this U.S. technology investment restrictions is now becoming a new normal. The Chinese have accepted that. And how many more things can they really fight about? At some point, we talk about balloons, and then the list seems to be endless, but they're not. At some point, it's just going to become a new normal, and my prediction is that they will stabilize the relationships, because the U.S. also does not want to have confrontation with China, and China will focus on its economy, but also developing a parallel technology system. And don't underestimate China's huge domestic innovation ecosystem. It's so important to have these downstream players like the autonomous vehicle, EV, the clients be very close to upstream players like semiconductors. And that closed link loop, this huge demand, the proximity, the industrial supply chain is very, very critical for technological development. Just as we look at Japan, where the semiconductors rise was very much because of the rise of electronics industry in Japan as well. And Japan is a closed economy. Now, China doesn't want that. To be very, very clear, China is open for business to the rest of the world, embraces globalization. And by the way, half of China's export is in supply chain exports, okay, input trade. So imagine having China not participate as much in the global supply chain because of geopolitics. It would be absolutely disastrous to the whole world's economy.